Capital One Bowl Week on ESPN, an American holiday tradition.
Ah, 'tis the season where you're everywhere at once, and then it opens. A window to unwind from the rush. Some time to cherish and to cheer. And if you couldn't get there, stay here. With us, the Arizona State Sun Devils against the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers. Bowl week across America rolls on. This holiday trip is for you. A festive air in downtown Phoenix for our Inside Bowl, a virtual home game for Arizona State. But for Rutgers, it's been 27 long years before they got back to a bowl game. And here come the Sun Devils. Arizona State, located in nearby Tempe, 6-5 out of the Pac-10, taking on the Rutgers Scarlet Knights from the Big East Conference. Coach Greg Schiano leading the Knights out onto the field here. And this telecast is available in high definition on ESPN HD, brought to you by Phillips. Happy holidays, everybody. With my partner, Gary Danielson, I'm Brent Musburger. You know, it's pretty easy to be cynical about all the bowl games, but let me tell you something. If you had watched this Rutgers team, the way they've enjoyed themselves, 27 long years since they've had this opportunity. And Gary, they've got some wonderful players like their versatile fullback.
Sure do. Brian Leonard Brent is the best football player at fullback position I've seen all year because he does so many things. He runs, he leaps, he's fast, he blocks, and he's the leading receiver on the football team. He's a special football player, and he'll play at the next level.
All hands on deck for Rutgers. Arizona State puts up 500 yards of offense a game. Derek Hagan, the Pac-10's all-time leading receiver.
He's experienced, he's dependable, and he's precise. He's the quarterback's best friend. He shows up where you expect him, at the time you expect him. He is a phenomenal football player, and it will be very difficult for Rutgers to stop him.
And folks, I got to ask my own quarterback about the two quarterbacks here tonight.
Well, there's such a contrast between these two guys, man. One's a freshman, one's a senior. Ryan Hart has been through everything for Rutgers. Rudy Carpenter didn't expect to play. He came in, but both guys have turned on the tapes and said, I can move the ball against this defense. That's going to make it fun.
Special treats in store for everybody. For example, Rutgers' #1 fan and an alum has found his way close to our Jackaroo. Jack?
Get us good seats?
Yeah, real close.
Yeah, I want to see everything.
I want to be part of the action.
The excitement.
We're close, right?
Close.
Real close.
Whoa, we're right on the field?
What'd you have to do to get us these seats?
Me? Nothing.
You can't get any closer than James Gandolfini, Tony Soprano as he's representing the special celebrity guest and a graduate of Rutgers. But ASU has brought along Jimmy Kimmel. He went to Rutgers. It's time for the toss of the coin. Let's go to our chief official, Joe Ryder. Joe?
Arizona State, please come in. Arizona State, you're the visitors here tonight. Who's going to speak for this team?
I am.
You are. Here's the coin. This is a head, inside bowl. This is a tail. Who's going to speak for this team? This is the coin. This is the head. This is the tail. Make your choice.
Tails.
Tails was called. It is a head. It is a head. Do you want your choice in the first half or second half?
I want the ball.
You want the ball. Which goal do you want to defend? You want to kick that way? Okay, white over here, red over here.
Notice that they didn't ask Tony Soprano to flip the coin, nor did they ask him to bring the Rutgers flag into this beautiful stadium. The kickoff is next. The recently named Chase Field, downtown Phoenix, Arizona, the home of the Arizona Diamondbacks. And for one night a year, it hosts college football. And this, the Inside Bowl, December 27, 2005, matching Arizona State and Rutgers. Arizona State kicking off, and we will see Rutgers receiving the opening kickoff. They'll go on the attack for the first time here tonight, and you just cannot overemphasize the amount of excitement.
Excitement in Rutgers, Brent, has been serious. They've come here to have fun, but they have worked extremely hard in practice all week. They want to show that they're ready to play in the big time. Greg Schiano has worked his team hard. They've had fun, and they are prepared.
Jesse Ainsworth, he handles all of the kicking chores for the Sun Devils. He was elevated to their top punter about midway through the season. Underway in Phoenix with the Inside Bowl. They'll take a knee and come out, and we'll meet the Scarlet Knight offense right now. And note the right guard, John Glass, number 76, all Big East this year. This is a tough, determined unit. The skill players, Sean Tucker is the speed man. If they want to get deep, they'll find number 4. And of course, Ryan Hart, whom Gary introduced you to, is the signal caller. Leonard, the fullback, Ray Rice, one of the best freshman running backs in the country. That's the Scarlet Knight attack. Under center for the first play of the game, the 6'2" senior Ryan Hart from Coral Springs, Florida. The H-back look, pounding straight ahead. Leonard steps off to the left and bangs to the 31-yard line against this Arizona State defense. Up front, Holyfield, Hill, Caldwell, and Darley on the outside. And Dale Robinson, the co-Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Year. Josh Golden over there, number 23, draws a start at corner. He is a natural corner, has been playing some safety, as Gary pointed out in our discussion about these players last night. And Hart will go back in the shotgun, and Leonard, a superb receiver, is out far to the left. 5 receivers. Off a rush, they throw in underneath, complete. And a first down on the first series, Trez Moses.
Well, if you're going to look at the game plan for Rutgers to win this game, 2 things. They must run it so they can throw it. They have to be balanced, but they must run it first, and they must sack and pressure Arizona State. They lead the nation in sacks. They must harass the Arizona State quarterback tonight.
Oh, yeah, she said it was.
So the ball at the 42 for Rutgers, that constant shifting. Schiano at one time was an assistant coach with the Chicago Bears, has spent time in the NFL, and down with the Miami Hurricanes. A defensive lineman moved. There's your penalty flag. They pound back with that running game. So Ray Rice, the freshman from New Rochelle, New York, pounds behind the left side. There were many during the last week who believed that Rutgers could control the clock and the game with this running game. And they are doing just that. This game opened just up the road in Nevada with Arizona State favored by 13. At kickoff tonight, it had slipped to 8. That's the respect that Schiano and this Rutgers running game has in this contest.
If you look at the matchups, you can see it. Arizona State's offense, Rutgers defense. That's where Arizona State, to do it, they got to get the ball, though. That's the problem. Rutgers believes they can keep the ball by running it.
3 first downs, 3 plays for Rutgers. You can't get any more productive than that. The clock running. They're keeping it away from the explosive Sun Devil offense. Here's the end around, and he's got the corner for about 7 yards. Willie Foster came around and got the corner.
Ryan Hart, you can see it. He was benched this year, but he stayed ready. When he got his chance, he came back, produced, and he's starting this football game. He's been through it all. Started out 3-20 his first 2 years. Hung in there, you can see it, he owns all the records.
Play fake, and Hart is straight back. Now steps up in the pocket, fires complete. Puts it right back in Trez Moses' hands. He averages 17 yards a catch. He's the all-time Rutgers reception leader. He now has 186 and 21 more yards.
Wait, these guys are doing it up front, and the reason they're doing it is because they've been able to run the ball, and now Arizona State says we have to at least be aware of the run, and now you can run those crossing routes behind. You give any quarterback time to throw to a guy like Trez Moses. They played together for 4 years. They know each other.
Leonard, the fullback, is in front of Rice. Rice, the freshman, slanted off. Did not really follow Leonard that time, and is out of bounds. Dale Robinson, the co-winner of the Pat Tillman Award that we mentioned earlier, and a tackling machine, takes him out of bounds.
Dale Robinson, 44. If you want to watch a tackling machine, as Brad said, this is the guy. He's an instinctual football player. Bill Miller, the defensive coordinator, said the one thing he did is moved him from the outside linebacker to the middle and gave him less responsibility and say, go make plays.
59% touchdowns for the Scarlet Knights. They have a superb tight end also. And they hit the back coming out. Dive for the pylon. And he's just out of bounds, short of the end zone on the first drive. Brian Leonard, we mentioned that he was a superb receiver, and there he was again.
You know, I've been racking my brains, Brent, to try to find who Brian Leonard reminds me of. He doesn't. He's fast, he catches the ball, he's athletic, he's tough, he's a leader. He's just a tremendous football player. He could play for anyone.
Now they line up in the full house and shift out of it, showing the power eye. They're going to throw. Touchdown, the tight end. Up firing to Clark Harris. First team all Big East. And folks, was that an impressive drive by an underdog? You bet.
Clark Harris, one of 2 great tight ends in this football game. Ryan Hart puts just enough touch on the pass, puts it up tall for his big 6'6" tight end. And how about that, Brent? Take the ball up with the flip and drive it right down the field against Arizona State.
Now here's something else, folks. Here's why the NFL is going to love him. He's bending over to long snap on this. Ito to attempt the extra point. Perfect snap. 7-0. The Scarlet Knights strike first. It's been 27 years. They've waited for this. But hang on, folks. This is going to get wild and woolly before it's over. An 80-yard clinic by Rutgers with the first drive of the game. Now, a couple things about Arizona State. Some local observers have said they're not ready for this bowl game. They wanted to finish higher in the Pac-10. They have not worked hard down here. They also have battled the flu. Now, in our conversation with Dirk Cutter, he says that's not true. He thought the practices were good once they got healthy.
I came down and watched one practice, and I thought they looked average, to be truthful, but it was an early practice. Talking to Dirk, he said it's not a problem. We practiced good enough. That is not an excuse, and he was not using the flu as an excuse either, was he?
No, he certainly wasn't. Now, overall, their defense was not ranked highly this year.
No.
They were 114th in the nation. And USC can tell you all about that defense in the second half as they overcame an 18-point deficit to the Sun Devils. Line drive. That'll come out on the 20-yard line. And now we will meet this Arizona State high-octane offense, topping 500 yards, 6 of 11 games, but it has been a patchwork offensive line. Only Carnahan is at the same spot as he was when the season opened. And you can see the skilled player, Derek Hagan, Pac-10's all-time leading receiver. Rudy Carpenter, he'll pull the trigger tonight. Rudy Burgess will start at running back, but we will see a lot of Keegan Harry, the freshman. And there is Hagan, number 80. So you want to keep an eye on him, especially you fellas looking ahead to next year's fantasy draft. Who are those sleepers among the rookies? When you take Hagan, you'll get a look at him here tonight. Carpenter on first down. Fires over Hagan. And this is second down at 10. Defense for Rutgers. And this is a team that is very tough up front. Ryan Neal, major knee surgery, and has he ever come back? Pearson, Thompson, Lewis, the linebackers. And in that secondary, watch the corners. Roberson and Barnes, they'll be under fire all night long here from Rudy Carpenter. 2nd down and 10. They feature the H-back. That's always been a cutter nuance of his offense. Burgess pounds right straight ahead. So they can pass or run on 3rd down now. Gary, what about their game plan?
I've always felt all week looking at this game, for Arizona State to win, they must match the intensity of Rutgers. They must be physical. Dirk Cutter knows it. He knows that what his team has to do. They are billed as the fast team. They got to play fast. They just can't go through the motions. They must take advantage of their speed in this football game.
Matt Miller comes out wide to the left. 2 tight ends, and they are superb tight ends. Carpenter is going to throw, and now nobody open, takes off. Did he get the 1st down? He did. Is Carpenter a dangerous runner, Gary?
Yes.
How would you evaluate that?
If that's part of his package that he brings here, he's a little better athlete than Sam was. We're talking about Sam Keller, the starting quarterback for the first 7 games. He does it a lot of different ways. He's kind of like, right now, kind of a poor man's Jake Plummer. That's the type of player he is right now.
Gary, what should we look for with the Arizona State attacker? They got a slot formation to the right.
Tight ends, slot backs, and crossing routes. They cross them all over the field.
Carpenter getting protection, and there it was. Got Matt Miller at the 45, 1st and 10. Gerald, the safety, was the defender.
What they're going to do is buy time by being able to keep this line and people in. They keep in H-backs, they keep in running backs. This time they send out 5 receivers. If Rutgers can't put pressure on Arizona State when they send out 5 guys, it's going to be a long night.
Now, has Rutgers faced any passer as good as this, or any attack, I guess
Louisville's
I should say.
pretty good,
Yeah,
but the bad
you're
news is they put up 50 points or something like that, didn't they?
Exactly. Got on it pretty good. Here's Burgess. Steps through that hole to the where he is down. Tough hombres on this Rutgers team. They have featured the sack, and Gary had mentioned that after that Louisville debacle, they had 9 sacks against Cincinnati and 46 for the season. And like we told you, Greg Schiano, the head coach, is the defensive coordinator. He was a defensive specialist under Joe Paterno, and then down at Miami under Butch Davis.
Well, if you're going to feature the sack, your defensive ends, Ryan Neal right there, must win.
Carpenter straight back. Pocket held for him and reaching out toward the 1st down and got it. I thought he was going to give it up. And, Jack, I know you have spoken with the trainers and the folks around Arizona State. What about the flu that hit this team pretty hard?
Well, Brent, they're down to only 2 that are still 2 players that are still suffering some ill effects from the flu, but they are playing. But a week ago today, a total of 14 members of the team, a dozen of them were players, were out of practice because of the flu. It was to the point where they only had 2 running backs to be able to practice with, but they recovered well, and they're not using it as any sort of excuse.
Yeah, they certainly didn't, Jack. And Carpenter's getting protection from the offensive lines, going for the touchdown. Got it! Wide open. 43 yards to Matt Miller.
We talked about the open, that both quarterbacks liked what they saw on tape. Now you know why I said that. When I talked to Rudy Carpenter, he said, Gary, I've never seen any defense simpler than this in an X and O's all year. I think I can throw the ball on him.
Now here's Ainsworth. We told you he handles all of the kicking for Arizona State. Chad Christensen, the backup quarterback, will put it down, and we're deadlocked. Well, now we know one thing, Gary. Now we know why Schiano said the best attack is to hold on to the ball and not put it in Arizona State's hand.
You got it. They got to do it. They must run the ball.
Tied at 7 in the Inside Bowl in downtown Phoenix. Play fake. They get another 1st down with him. He's everywhere. Down the sideline. Touchdown, Rutgers. I thought they had him out of bounds on the far side. And like Houdini, he slipped free. That's 31 yards for Mr. Leonard.
Well, the 114th ranked Arizona State defense better start bringing it, because this was a lack of intensity on this play. A dump pass to the fullback, and look at that. Look at Robinson stopped on the play. Dale Robinson, the leading tackler in the Big Ten, Pac-10, excuse me, stopped on the play, thought Leonard was going to go out of bounds.
And we will have A.J. Hawk early enough on Monday.
Right. A.J. Hawk don't stop, does he?
Hart 6 of 6, folks, on the game. 114 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's ready, isn't he? Ryan Hart is ready.
And Jeremy Ito, a sophomore from Redlands, California. $14-7. Just like they scored too quickly. They didn't get enough time off the clock.
This is
just kidding.
Listen, Arizona State defense needs to run to the football. This is just, no defense can really make plays if you all turn around and watch a fullback run down the field. Dale Robinson turns it down, but if you had the wide picture there, the Arizona State defense just stops on the play. They think it's going to be a dump-off pass. There's just no intensity from this Arizona State Wildcat defense right now. They're just going through the motions, and I don't know if this Arizona State offense and Rudy Carpenter can score enough points.
Well, Jack Arute, I know you went down to New Brunswick. You visited Rutgers, and you had a nice conversation with Leonard. He's quite a young man.
Yeah, Brent, he's tough. He says, as you heard, that he's very tough, and he never cries. But maybe he learned how to run that way when he and his family, when he was 9 years old, visited Walt Disney World. He was not intimidated at all by Mickey Mouse. In fact, he ran up to Mickey Mouse, stole his tie, and then took off through the Magic Kingdom. He eventually got caught and gave it back.
There's the young man from New York State. You know, Rutgers, you think of it, some of our all-time favorite people have come from Rutgers. The late, great Jim Valvano was an alum of that school. There's a long-time columnist here for the Newark Star-Ledger, one of the underrated sports writers of all time, Jerry Eisenberg, is here tonight. He too graduated from Rutgers. He was there back in 1978, 27 years ago. Remember in that game, Rutgers had a lead, and then Arizona State stormed back.
They did. And that was in New Jersey. Was that at the Giant Stadium back then? Yeah, that's back when I played. We didn't go to bowls when I played.
Out from the 1-yard line is Burgess, the running back. Looking to bring it wide left. And he is out at the 31-yard line. So, folks, we're at the top of the hour. Gary Danielson, Jack Arute, and Brent Musburger. A pleasure to be coming to you on ESPN tonight. This, the Inside Bowl, just part of the Capital One Bowl Week. And we're off to a very exciting start here. The Scarlet Knights so excited. Arizona State favored, and of course right down the road is their school in nearby Tempe.
You know, I'm just thinking, though, if you're Arizona State, this is like ho-hum. We've seen this all year. People score on us like this all the time. I mean, it's just normal situation for Dirk Cutter and his quarterback and offense.
Back with the running play, Keegan Herring, his first carry, and he is thrown down by Courtney Green, the safety.
Isn't this supposed to be a pitcher's park here? This is it's a lot of offense going on in this play, isn't it?
Notice that they left the roof
There's the foul pole
wide
right
open
there, right?
for them
That's
to bring the flags in.
Yeah.
Right, and then they closed it. A couple of years ago, they left it open for the Inside Bowl, I was told, and the field got very slippery this time of year. So last year when Notre Dame lost to Oregon State, they had closed it during the game, and that's what they're doing here tonight. Well, Capital One Bowl Week continues with 2 more games. And remember the game day special, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Then Boise State, Boston College. Can Boston go west and win a game? Then the MasterCard Alamo Bowl, Michigan and Nebraska, 2 of the great traditions at 8 p.m. Eastern time here on ESPN HD. 3rd down and 1 coming up for the Sun Devils, Gary.
Well, one thing Dirk Cutter told me is he felt watching tape that no one's really tried to run the counter against Rutgers. He said tonight I'm going to feature it, but I haven't seen it yet. I've been looking for the counter. Maybe the way his defense is playing, he doesn't want to start it up yet.
Preston Jones, the third running back, checks in on 3rd and 1. The power back looking for the first down. Got it easily. And put it down. Fumble. And it has been recovered by Rutgers. The game's first turnover on the first carry of the night by the sophomore from East Lansing, Michigan. Looking for a yard, and Ramel Meekins pounces on the fumble.
There was a good hit from the secondary that time. I'm not sure who got it. It was Courtney Green. Came up, put a good helmet right on that football. They had the first down, but the first turnover of the game goes to Rutgers.
And now can they take a 2-touchdown advantage? Arizona State has not been able to find an answer for number 23. Fullback Brian Leonard as a runner. He's got the edge. He's pounded behind the tackles, and he's broken free as a receiver. Ryan Hart off to a superb start. Perfect on his 6 throws here tonight. Gary, he's out to prove something tonight, the senior.
And you know what's really tough for Arizona State? He's not even had a tough throw yet. They've been wide open.
Running the toss play, and here's Rice. Can he get the edge? And that time, the Sun Devils were a little more aggressive. Mike Davis Jr. In case you missed it, Hart on the first drive. Went to his tight end. Then Arizona State answered. And then the 3rd touchdown. Leonard, 31-yard catch and run down the far sideline. And now after the game's first turnover, Rutgers back at it, Arizona State territory. This is 2nd down from the 43-yard line.
Both wide receivers shifting out of the backfield. A package put in during bowl preparation.
Middle, first down at the 20-yard line. Under pressure, and back to Clark Harris, who caught that touchdown pass earlier. Ryan Hart showed courage in the pocket that time.
Sure did. I thought it was going to cave in, but there was enough room for him to move up in the pocket. And then you just look down, and Clark Harris, one of those breed of tight ends. I tell you, the game is changing. The tight end position is coming back. You look at the NFL, college football, you're seeing more and more of these coaches liking the matchup of the tight end against linebackers and safeties.
First down and 10. And a flag and a whistle. And then we're going to get the signal here quickly from Joe Ryder.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 76 on the offense. 5 yards, complete first
Now,
down.
Ryan Hart, we asked him about his strengths, and here's what the quarterback said.
I can run an offense, like especially this offense. It's my actually 3.5 years starting, and my 3rd year in this offense, and I can run this offense pretty well. I'm a leader. I understand the game situations very well. I'm a pretty accurate quarterback, so when it comes down to crunch time, I'm the guy for the job.
You know, it was interesting yesterday. It's been a long time since I've seen a starting quarterback play touch football with some of the linemen out here for about 30 hard minutes. It was very interesting to watch Rutgers. The penalty makes it 1st and 15. Leonard somehow comes out of the pile. Wow, what a performance so far by junior Brian Leonard.
By far the best fullback and hybrid back I've seen all year. It looked like he tweaked something on this, though. It looked like he got hurt just a little bit, but in the hole, he jumped. He jumped to the right, jumped to the left, kept both feet on the ground, and then exploded when he saw his little crease.
Now from the end zone, Leonard constantly shifting, giving that H-back look, a superb receiver. They run Rice, they counter back with him, Gary, inside the 10-yard line, and we check in down below with Jack Arute.
Well, when you notice that Ryan Hart was talking about his leadership abilities, he said in 3.5 years. Both you guys upstairs know that during midseason, he was replaced by Mike Teal, and then he won the job back when Teal went down to injury. One of the things that happened when he was replaced, he received a phone call from Archie Manning. Archie told him to keep his chin up, continue to do what he does well. He had met the Manning family when he attended Archie, Peyton, and their quarterback camp earlier this summer.
And Jackie obviously picked up some things that have helped him. It's a spirited rivalry. Both Hart and Mike Teal think they should be starting. They've gone with the veteran here tonight. Short fade to the corner. incomplete. And he was aiming at Moses that time. Trez Moses. Mike Davis was the defender. There's Teal over on the sideline. Both, as Gary pointed out, bothered with the shoulder injuries. But should anything go awry here tonight, we will see the young man on the field.
Yeah. Right now, Mike Teal, you just have another Gatorade. He's 7 for 8. I thought Moses lost that ball in the lights or something. He ran right by that ball. I thought he could have stopped and maybe jumped for it. He didn't even see it. I think he didn't even see on that fade pass.
At a baseball stadium?
Oh, does that happen? I don't know. I was down.
Second down and goal. We'll run the toss now with Rice. And he sort of slipped on the cut, didn't he?
Yep.
As he was forced back on the inside. Jamar Williams, the linebacker, was there. And there's a look at the lights.
Yeah, they were coming right over the third base side. See that? That's the angle that the ball was coming right there. I don't know. It just seemed to me like he didn't see the football, ran right by it.
Amazing for my quarterback to bail out a wide receiver.
You know, somebody watching this football game from Syracuse is going, wait a second. Leonard and Ray Rice both wanted to go to Syracuse and changed their mind and went to Rutgers. Used to happen the other way around.
I believe when Paul Pasqualoni was let go, Rice withdrew his commitment, and that's how he wound up with Greg Schiano. We've got a timeout, the Inside Bowl. Gary, interesting play, and Clark Harris is over on the left side and now shifting, and they put him back down over there. On 3rd and goal, to the middle, high, Moses, incomplete. Trez Moses, the intended receiver, Mike Davis with coverage.
Mike Davis had pretty good coverage, but I think Trez Moses could have used his body and made the catch. Little false start by Moses. Now he's got it. He should use his body, shield this thing, and catch this football. That's a drop. That was a touchdown right there.
Yep, should have had it.
Yep. Well, could have had it. You know, I mean, one of those ones where you like to make that play when you're a senior in a big bowl game against a high-scoring team in the Pac-10, Arizona State. Anthony
Cali is the holder for Jeremy Ito. A 25-yard field goal. This to put Rutgers up by 10. Underdog is howling early, folks. 17-7. Rutgers leads favored Arizona State.
Greg Schiano, the defensive coordinator. You know, Pete Carroll does it at USC. You know, Charlie Weiss is the offensive coordinator at Notre Dame. Dirk Cutter is the offensive coordinator here at Arizona State. And this guy right here, Greg Schiano, is the defensive coordinator. Let's watch. Let's match it up right here. Cutter's calling the plays and Schiano's calling the defenses. You're going to get a little reaction from this. It's like basketball. It's like doing basketball with you. Watch.
Carpenter's got an open receiver. Hagan caught it just shy of midfield. Derek Hagan, number 80. 1,000-yard receiver. He's caught 8 touchdown passes this year. The Pac-10's all-time best. And Gary, you project him as a first-rounder.
Oh, yeah. He's 10 to 15, I think, in that area. He's like a Rod Smith, the Denver receiver, dependable, precise. He's quarterback's best friend. He will be where you think he's going to be at the time you think he is. Did you see Schiano point out that play? He knew it was coming, and he was upset with his secondary. They busted a coverage.
Carpenter's throwing for 97 yards. Steps up in the pocket. High and pulled down at the 22-yard line by Jamal Lewis. Look at Coach going down that sideline, huh?
Oh, man.
Oh, they got a penalty flag. He says, bring it back.
Yep.
Bring it on back.
He's got the clipboard dangling. He's upset. Too much time for Carpenter. He's taking a 7-step drop. He's walking in. You see Schiano right there. He's telling Geralt.
Number 73 on the offense. 10 yards from the previous spot. Repeat first down.
Geralt back there, 43, is the safety that is making the mistake, at least in Schiano's mind. And boy, Schiano's going to lose about 10 pounds in this series right here. Called holding on 73. Is there a substitute in there? Because I don't see a 73 on the field. There must be a backup in the game already. It's an offensive line that's had 9 different starting lineups.
First down and 20 after the penalty. And Herring goes nowhere. The 5'10" freshman, because Courtney Green, the other safety, comes up to make the stop.
Yeah, Green's another freshman too. Went to the same. He's another freshman, just like Ray Rice is. Came to this football team. Both true freshmen. That time, the Rutgers defensive line won. They made penetration, and that was why the play was made by the safety.
So the inside bowl at the end of the first quarter. Underdog Rutgers 17. Arizona State of the Pac-10 7. Happy holidays, everybody. You take 2 teams from opposite ends of the country. Rutgers for the Big East, Arizona State for the Pac-10. They don't know a lot about each other. And what do you wind up with? A very entertaining first quarter. And we start the second quarter. It'll be second down and long. The Sun Devils were hit with that penalty late in the first quarter. So it is certainly not 1st and 10, folks. Second and forever. Caught by Higgins, and this will make it third down, and I would say about 6-7, right, somewhere right in there. Gary, you don't seem to be surprised about what's happening in this game.
No, you talked to both quarterbacks. They knew they could throw the football. I'm a little surprised that Arizona State has really not matched intensity on the offense and defensive line. I mean, they know they can throw the ball, but can they play the physical game? I still think that's the key.
There must be something to that story that they really wanted to play in a bigger bowl than staying at home, because like Gary pointed out, they have been flat so far in this football game, but there's a long, long way to go. One thing we've learned about bowl games, folks, there's a couple of games.
Yeah,
there's always a long halftime.
And they keep going, and Arizona State is used to this. They come from behind. They've played big football games. They've been way up, and they've been way down, and they've handled it in both situations.
And Jack, what's the injury situation down below?
Well, let's give you the update on Keegan Herring. You remember he left the game for a little while, but he is okay and has been cleared to play. But problems for the offensive line for Arizona State continue. Remember, they've used 9 different players for their line. We'll add Steve Berg back to the injured list. He's trying to walk off an ankle injury. They're still trying to evaluate it. How bad have the injuries been? Of all the players that have been injured, they all live in the same house. It got so bad this year that even the dog broke its leg during the season.
Now that's when it's getting bad. Poor Hound. Third down and 8 for Carpenter in the attack. Leslie Jackman has checked in as one of the defensive backs. He's going to try Higgins. Incomplete, and Arizona State forced the punt. Cutter thinks there was a foul on that far side.
Timing pass that wasn't there. Now here's Ryan Neal. If you're doing a good job, you're going to draw coverage. See, that's a good job. When they got to put 2 guys on you and Rod has to hold you, that they didn't call, but they go with 2 guys on you, then you open it up for your teammates. That's what Ryan Neal has to do in this football game.
Ainsworth, Foster to return it. Fair catch, Burgess. Time for a... Burgess is the running back. Counter step, and he is stopped short of the end zone. Lewis among the Scarlet Knights in there defensively.
I think Rudy Burgess isn't a kind of a go-to guy. In the last 4 games for Arizona State, Rudy Burgess has caught 38 passes and run 74 times. That means he's touched the ball over 100 times in the last 4 games. 25 touches a game for number 3.
He's still right in there, Gary.
Yep.
That familiar H-back look of Dirk Cutter's offense. Looking, corner, incomplete. ASU wanted a penalty flag on that play. Green, the safety, had coverage over there in the corner.
Rudy would like this one back. Watch Miller goes here, tight end goes there. He should have thrown the ball to the flat. Watch how open Miller is. Throw the ball to the flat and you got a touchdown right there. There's the touchdown. Here's the forced throw right there. Rudy forced to throw. He had a touchdown in the corner.
Yes. High.
3rd down and goal. Carpenter can't find an open receiver. Now underneath, and it's incomplete. So a decision for Cutter. He has a 4th down from the 3-yard line, and he does not hesitate. The field goal team is on the field here. He obviously wants to make it a 10. He's not going to second guess himself, I don't think, on this decision either.
He's got a field goal kicker who really, this is going to be an extra point. And Eshworth has not missed an extra point all year, so I think this is a sure 3 points. You got to make it a 7-point game. I agree.
So it's a 21-yard attempt. Christensen will put it down for Ainsworth, and there it is. Back to 10. 17-10. It's back to 7. I should say, cut it to 7 points. And we'll take a break. The toss to Burgess. Slams toward the end zone and didn't make it. They want to get 7 points here for the intermission.
Little toss play. Brent Miller is the motion man that time. Oh, that was close. That was very, very close.
Though, was it? The ball, I don't know if the ball broke the plane when he was down.
You're right, but I don't think Arizona State really cares all that much if they score because they took another 40 seconds off the clock.
True. Good point. Good point. Carpenter up under center and Burgess right behind him. He's going to throw for it. There's a penalty flag and it's deflected. Coming in was Green, the safety that time, but there is a penalty flag. Somebody might have been offside. Let me see. It was the head linesman who came over.
Offside, number 26 on the defense. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat 2nd down.
You said 26. He's 36. I'm sure it was Green.
Yeah, it was the Green who came in on that
exactly.
play. Gary, why not just have Carpenter go right straight ahead?
I thought, well, Carpenter is not the biggest guy, but I'm surprised he didn't run the ball. I have to say that. You can see it. They're going to try to get Miller out to the outside like he was open last time, and Green was probably the guy that lined up in the neutral zone.
Carpenter's thrown for a couple 100 yards. Hart for 222 yards and those 2 touchdowns. They're going to throw again. They come up firing for the touchdown. They just don't stop. Zach Miller. He was last year's Pac-10 Freshman of the Year, only a sophomore and one of the most talented tight ends in the country. When you look down the road, Zach Miller has a great future with the Sun Devils, and Shiano can't believe, I don't think, how wide open he was.
Well, you almost got to sell out to the run when you're down there that close on 2nd down, and Dirk goes with what he's comfortable with, and that's throwing the ball.
39 seconds. Well, you want to call Greasy Tony's and order up some halftime?
Let's do it.
Ainsworth tacks on the extra point. We're back to 7 now.
Remember, he tried to go in the flat last time, and it got knocked down. There's Miller right there. That's a standard play. It's a goal line play 101, and there it is. Perfect read, and this time Rudy puts it right to the big. And you know what? You know what Miller's nickname is, Brent?
No.
The Truth. Now, let me tell you how he got the name. He was so highly recruited that when he came on campus, all the defensive players wanted to see him. And as a freshman, he started making plays, and everybody said, you know, it's the truth. That's how he's good. He's the truth.
You know, they have great tight ends come out of the school, don't they?
Todd Heap, I guess, right?
Yeah. You think about that. Great legacy here at that position. And Gary, you were just ahead of the curve. You know, you and I, 5 years ago, you started saying right away, you've got to have tight ends. You've got to have tight ends at the college level and certainly in the NFL. And we've seen some great ones up there.
And you know why I think it is? It's because of the intricacies of the defense. They've spent so much time trying to fool the quarterback on the outside perimeter to take away those skill guys that there's openings in the middle of the field, and those great tight ends are making plays.
Well, the final 39 seconds here of what has been a very entertaining, high-scoring first half. I think the experts, I think, thought we'd get in the 50s in this game, and we're going to soar right past that the way things are going.
Luckily, there's only 39 seconds for Arizona State, because the good news is we scored. The bad news is we got to put our defense back out there.
Ainsworth drilled that last kickoff. The man with a strong leg. Take a knee, and it'll come out on the 20-yard line. So we'll see what Rutgers can come up with. Hart is 13 of 17 for 222 yards. Moses has been his favorite target, 63 yards with 4 receptions. I remember Sean Tucker, the junior, has that deep speed. He is from Parkland, Florida. That's down in Broward County. He played at Douglas High School. Yeah. He's a burner.
He is.
And it looks like they're going to take the lead on in.
This is smart. This is smart. You don't want to make a mistake. Go in with the lead. You have no timeouts left. 39 seconds. Go in at halftime. Let's play a second half. Can't make a mistake and ruin a good first half of football. Your chance of going 80 yards in 39 seconds is almost 0.
So Schiano content to let the seconds tick away here. Up by 7, 41 points in our first half. Dirk Cutter's been trying to dig out from behind or tied all night long. And there's the fullback. Leonard had a fabulous game. And let's check in with Jack and Coach Cutter.
Coach, how would you grade your team's performance in this first half?
Not great, Jack. We're getting our butt kicked right now up front. We can't stop them. So we got to get it straightened out here at halftime.
What sort of message will you give your kids?
Well, we better wake up. We better wake up fast.
Welcome back to ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
The Bowl Feast continues from Phoenix. Happy holidays again, everybody. It's 24-17. Rutgers leading Arizona State. Inside Bowl here, brought to you tonight on HD and Phillips. So you can see our second half in high definition. There are the stats, Gary Danielson, and total yards 349 for Rutgers, more than that high-powered offense of Arizona State. So I guess my question, any bad omens that you saw as far as Rutgers is concerned with this lead right now?
I think I do. If you looked at those stats, you went right down to the bottom. Rutgers leads the nation in sacks. They do not have a sack in this football game, okay? I think Rudy Carpenter says, if you give me time to throw the ball, I can throw the ball. I threw for 200 in the first half. I'm going to get the ball right now. I think that's the one worry for Rutgers. They've made a living on sacks. They don't have any.
And Jack and Root, what did Coach Schiano have to say?
Well, guys, no coaching cliches from Coach Schiano when he came out of the locker room. In fact, he said to his team, he says, we're going to spend the next 30 minutes pounding the ball. And he told me, guys, watch for Leonard. He says, I'm going to give him the ball often.
So the game plan is set here for the second half. And Jack, there's an injury situation I want everybody to keep an eye on. Arizona State came over to me and said that Andrew Carnahan, their right tackle, limped off after the touchdown. Remember, he fractured a foot, and he has been playing injured tonight, and they definitely need him in that offensive line because, as Gary told you, Rutgers has been the sackmaster team so far this year. There is Carnahan with helmet on, which is a very good sign for Arizona State right now. He's one of the few return linemen who started the season in there. They would have been down to about 1/5 of their regular offensive line if they were going to lose him. Arizona State will get the ball to start the second half. This is a short kickoff, fielded at the 17-yard line by Burgess. And Burgess still dancing. Made the most of that one, didn't he, Gary?
Well, you know, I think that was by design, and I'm wondering why Rutgers tried to pooch a kick like that when you kicked it out of the end zone the time before.
Now, along with the broken foot, he also has the fractured finger that he's playing with the cast. You'll see him leave that huddle, and we'll keep a very close eye on this offensive line. He's a junior from Hereford, Texas, one of those tough Texans limping out there, number 52.
He's got a pin in his right wrist that he struggled with all year. He's wounded. He is wounded, but they need him. He's got to finish it off.
So first down and 10. They put a fullback in. They flare him. Downfield on first down and caught by number 82, Jamal Lewis. A huge hit on the opening play of the second half as the Sun Devils go 40 yards.
There's Carnahan right here. Watch him block down, and then Rudy comes out to the outside when he feels the pressure and then delivers the ball to Lewis. Lewis is listed as a tight end. Next year, he will be a slot back. He has lost weight. He runs a 4.6 40. He's one of those hybrids that's going to be more of a wide receiver next year for Arizona State.
Neal is the right defensive end for Rutgers. Burgess on the screen, slips the first tackle. Out of bounds just inside the 20 for a first down.
Carnahan is just gutting it out right now, Brent. He can barely move. He's got a right leg that he's limping on. He's got a left pinky that's taped up. His right wrist had a pin in it, and they call a screen to the outside that he has to go out and try to clean on the corner. Boy, I'll tell you, badge of courage for this guy.
Absolutely.
This is just not fun. This is tough work when you're injured like that, and you know your team needs you. It's the only way. You got it. Got a bad matchup at left tackle. You can't have a bad one at right tackle.
They flop Neal to work against him. He slips the block, closes on the quarterback to the end zone, deflected, incomplete. So the Rutgers coaches spotted the injured tackle, and pressure was coming on Carpenter that time. Neal was coming off the edge around Carnahan.
I tell you, Carpenter, now the backup quarterback is Chad Christensen. You can see it. Neal's coming around, gets sandwiched. Two guys get him.
Barnaby was the other rusher.
Barnaby, I'm sorry, I couldn't figure out who it was. It was 94, the other defensive end who was on the other side of the formation that time. And boy, oh boy, Carpenter with really no backup quarterback gets squished.
Neal again lines up on the left side of the defense. And Burgess explodes, reaches for the end zone, out at the 1 yard line. It'll be first and goal at the 1 yard line. That time they let Neal take himself out of the play by rushing upfield, and they ran inside him.
What a great call by Dirk Cutter that time. He knew he had a bad matchup at right tackle, so he runs the draw inside of it. What a great call.
The Sun Devils looking for the tie on the opening series. They have a first and goal against the Scarlet Knights. Burgess is the running back. Miller, the H-back. Play fake, one to throw to him, covered. Carpenter dives for the end zone, short. So the H-back was well covered that time. They took away the option.
I'll tell you what happened on that one, Brent. Zach Miller, number 86, right there, the tight end who was supposed to go to the corner with the H-back into the slot, fell down or was tackled on the play. Watch it. Yes, he was. He was tackled by Barnaby. When he was pulled down, the Miller goes right to the official and says, I got grabbed on the play, and that's why the play broke down.
So it's second down and a goal. Miller again in the backfield. He's just moved over to the right. There's the toss play behind him. Burgess cuts, jumps, touchdown, Arizona State. An extra point away now from a tie.
I'll tell you, another warrior. Rudy Carpenter took a beating on that drive. He's coming off. He got hit on almost every throw, and he is toughing it out for his football team also. Carnahan and Carpenter, the right tackle and the quarterback, are punch drunk as they come over.
96 consecutive extra points for Jesse Ainsworth. Needs number 97. Got it, and he ties it at 24.
Power to the right, get it back to Burgess, and stick it in the end zone.
A brand new game at the Inside Bowl in Phoenix.
Hey, Hey, Gary?
Yes, sir.
Did you see Carpenter trip when he went to hand it off?
Yes, on the draw play,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yes. I think he's a little bit wobbly.
Yeah, I'm watching over here.
Okay. Number 10 is the backup quarterback, Chad Christensen, if you want to try to find him. And is that Sam Keller there too? No, I don't see Sam, no. You know, I mean, when you first meet him, you're not overwhelmed with his measurables, but I've given up on measurables a long time ago.
Isn't that the truth?
Yep.
Play fake bind. There's a penalty flag on this play to the end zone. Caught. But there is a penalty flag. Terry Richardson, who was penalized moments ago, but there is a flag, so hold on. They're signaling touchdown. Offside defense. There it is. A 23-yard scoring strike. Coach Cutter is happy. A record-setting passing year for Arizona State. Can they put up yards or what?
They do it against everyone. They throw the ball. They know how to throw the ball. They're taught very well, and they just come out blistering. You know, they've thrown the ball this year 8 games for more than 300 yards and 5 games for more than 400 yards this season.
Ainsworth, again, if you just joined us, had not missed an extra point this year, still has it. And it's a 4-point margin.
Now, you know how you do that if you throw the ball 8 times for 300 and 5 times for 400, and they only play 11 games. How do you do that?
That's pretty good, man.
Well, because every time you go for 400, you get 300. See? You just, it's Purdue math.
It is Purdue math. I knew exactly what it was. Take a look at this, Gary.
Yep, same play through before, the corner route off play action pass. This one he just lays up. He knows Richardson has got his eyes on the ball, and the cornerback doesn't, and Richardson goes up and gets it.
And Jack, we're getting our money's worth here tonight, partner.
Yes, Brent, we are, and I should point out to you that both teams had to bring extra footballs to this game. Why? Because it's being played in Chase Field, a baseball stadium, so there's no football nets on the end zones through the uprights. So every ball that has gone through the uprights has gone up into the stands, and some lucky fan gets to keep it. If the score keeps going, we may have to go get some new footballs.
Wow, that's...
So they're a sellout crowd tonight, 43,536. And again, the first of 2 bowl games here in the Valley of the Sun. Monday afternoon, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl down in Tempe between Notre Dame and Ohio State. And here tonight, the Inside Bowl between Arizona State and Rutgers. Now, when you think about the Pac-10 and you look ahead to the rest of the games, including the huge national championship game out of the Rose Bowl between USC and Texas, California has already posted 1 victory. Arizona State has rallied here to take a lead on Rutgers. Oregon goes down in the Holiday Bowl, and that's against Oklahoma. This is Foster, the speedster. 25, 30. Breaks out and tripped up down at the 40-yard line. Ainsworth, the kicker, tripped him up. Now, speaking of those games, remember it's Thursday night. Capital One Bowl Week at 4:30 Eastern. And Georgia Tech against Utah. And then there you have it, the Pacific Life Holiday Bowl. Dan Fouts and our friend Keith Jackson, Oregon and Oklahoma at 8 p.m. Thursday. So then they'll move up the coast and they'll do the granddaddy between USC and Texas for the championship. Gary and I will move on over to the Fiesta, to Ohio State and Notre Dame. Play fake now by Ryan Hart. Middle, got it. First down at the 40-yard line, Trez Moses. And Trez having a big time day here, Gary.
Yeah, he sure is. It's a crossing route, play action passes, and all day. Now both teams are doing the same thing. Josh Golden's got a man-on-man, but he makes a critical mistake and allows Morris to get inside of him. That breaks down the defense for the big play. Rutgers is looking at how well Arizona State can throw the ball and says, we have to, it's like a tennis match. We have to hold serve when we get the ball to win this football game.
Last team with the ball might win it. Now that we're sitting on a 4-4-0-4. That's Baker who came in motion. Back with the freshman running back. And Ray Rice here tonight was closing in on 100 yards. There's a wonderful future ahead of him. He's 5'9", 195 pounds. Rushed for better than 1,000 yards. Had 4 100-yard games. And a couple yards shy of it right now. 3:30 to go. The running game keeping the ball away from Carpenter and the Sun Devils' high-powered offense. 2nd down and 8. Harris to the right side of the formation. And timeout. And the clock was coming down. And because of the clock problem, they'll use a timeout. And now Rutgers down to its last timeout. Not as big a factor as it would be, of course, in the NFL, because a first down stops the clock.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword in the NFL because you need them to challenge in the NFL also. Every play here is under review automatically. Ryan Hart is talking to Craig Van Steering, the offensive coordinator, who's up in the box calling the plays and working him through. McNulty right there, the offensive receiver coach.
Schiano, the head coach, learned at the knee of Joe Paterno, thinks the world of Joe Pa and the staff back in Happy Valley. Then went down, worked for Butch Davis at Miami. He's offered the job at Rutgers, and certainly has learned well off of all of those coaches.
I think he learned a lot working for Dave Wannstedt with the Chicago Bears too. Dave Wannstedt's a great defensive coach, and when you get up in that NFL, it's wall-to-wall football and learning, and he learned a lot of good defensive football from Dave Wannstedt too.
I agree, Gary. Dave, now the head coach at Pittsburgh of the Big East. He's probably sitting back rooting hard here for Rutgers in the conference to pull the upset. 2nd down, play fake, stepping up and dropping off the middle, and it looked like that's going to be interference. The freshman running back was being ridden down by Manutai. I don't think there was any question about this. The ball hadn't even reached him, and he was being tackled.
And when you weigh 265 pounds and you're playing because Dale Robinson isn't, you have a tendency to grab onto guys because you don't trust your speed.
Number 44 is out, not likely to return tonight.
Yeah, Manutai is 6'2", 265, and when you're matching up in pass coverage without that guy on the field, sometimes you just grab.
And Coach Cutter is unhappy about the call, and coming back now closer to the players on the sideline. He had gone downfield to talk to one of the officials directly alongside the line judge right now. Play fake, throwing wide open and just a little bit short. There was enormous pressure that time. Darley, number 99, broke in on Ryan Hart, and he upset the play.
Actually, he saved a touchdown because Brian Leonard, no one covered him on the play. Leonard goes out, Darley makes the play. If he doesn't get there this quickly, runs right through Rice's block. That's what broke down the play. Look at, no one covered Brian Leonard on the play. If Ray Rice could have got a piece of Darley, it would have been a touchdown.
2nd down and 10. Here's Rice pounding to the 30-yard line. Vincent with the stop.
Well, I love the way he uses his body to get those extra yard and a half, 2 yards at the end of every run. He's not a finesse freshman running back. He is a power running back. When I was making my game plan, I said, Rutgers must run it. And Brent says, I think they should pound it. And I go, come on, they got a freshman running back. I want to change it to Rutgers should pound it.
Ware checks in, Gary, as a 5th defensive back here in this 3rd and 3. And Leonard runs to daylight, but there's a penalty, so hold on. He's pushed out of bounds inside the 10-yard line, but there is a flag thrown from downfield on the play.
It's going to be a wide receiver coming in on a block. I think it was Willie Foster, the wide receiver, coming in on a crack. What great feat by Brian Leonard again, jumping in the hole, kind of like Mike Allstock, and getting out to the outside, pushing the back. Okay, but that was just vintage running by a single back right there.
Blocking the back above the waist, number 4 on the offense. 10 yards. Repeat 3rd down.
It was a wide receiver. It was Sean Tucker instead of Willie Foster. I thought it was 84. It was 4, and you could see it. A shove in the back on Golden, and that's really what broke the play. Good call. Officials have done a nice job tonight.
31-27. Arizona State leading it by 4 and 2:14. And Rutgers with 3 wide receivers. The tight end, and back in the shotgun goes Ryan Hart. He's thrown for 280 yards here tonight. He'll be looking for more. Got it. Fumble. And they'll wave it off. They'll wave it off. Incomplete pass. Good call for the far side. Mike Davis Jr. jarred the ball loose.
All-out blitz that time from Bill Miller. He brought the house. Came with an 8-man rush. Ryan Hart threw the slant. That's exactly what he should have done. And now Greg Schiano has a decision. It's a little long for a field goal, a little close for a punt. All-out blitz. Perfect throw on the play. That ball should have been caught. Let's see what the call is. Ryan Hart's still on the field.
The field goal kicker is on. They're down by 4. A long field goal. Callie, this is a 52-yarder for Callie. He's had 6 over 40. Got it up. Good. The sophomore from Redlands, California. Welcome back to the Inside Bowl, HD on ESPN tonight, and it has been a dandy. 61 total points, 31-30. We start the 4th quarter. Arizona State with a 3rd and short, just shy of the Rutgers 35-yard line. And you can see Neal, the big defensive end, switching over to the other side of the defensive alignment. Going to throw forward or take off. Fumble! Rutgers pounces on it. Carpenter turns it over. And a big break for Schiano and the Scarlet Knights to start the 4th quarter. Meekins in on the play.
Just as Rudy Carpenter was going to throw the slant, he saw the safety come in there. When he brought it down, he tried to run it for the first down and bumped in. It was one of those plays that was stopped in the secondary, and that's what happened.
I got to ask you this, partner. I know they've got a high-octane passing
I don't
attack.
get that one either.
I mean, you're short of a yard just to get a first down to keep it moving. You got pretty good running backs, so why wouldn't you run the ball?
Well, in hindsight, I'm going to run the sneak on that one. Yeah, I was surprised, but I'll tell you, it was a great play by the safety, taking away the slant to Derek Hagan that caused that fumble.
The blitz by Arizona State. Coach Miller coming again. Complete. Throws a beautiful pass to the 35-yard line, hitting number 4, Sean. You know, The young man has played a big-time game for Rutgers
I'll
here
tell you,
tonight, Gary.
for a guy, Ryan Hart, that it was benched this year, and Mike Teal was supposed to be the quarterback of the future, when he got his chance, he was ready to play, and it's paying off for him tonight. He's playing a great football game.
Yeah, because Arizona State was really coming after him on that play, and he just drilled it, rolling hard down to the right. First down and 10 as a result. Ball inside the 35-yard line. Rutgers down a point. The long handoff, and the freshman Ray Rice out of New Rochelle, New York. Well, everything you want to know about Ryan Hart, you just ask Coach Schiano. Here's what he says.
He just has a certain been there, done that attitude that, hey, relax, guys. If something bad goes down, you know, we'll get it fixed. And, you know, that's what we haven't had around here.
Tough kids, folks, out of the Northeast. That would be an easy way to describe what we've been looking at here tonight. Rutgers a heavy underdog. 2nd down and 7, trailing it by only a point. And here is Leonard. And that time he could not break down the defense, as Catanese, the safety, who's had 100 tackles plus on the season, holds his ground.
Catanese, junior college transfer. He's a big-time 225-pound hitter. Only going to get better as he learns that he was a high school quarterback, and he's learning how to play safety, but he's a real fine athlete.
See, I gave him credit for that tackle. I gave him his 100.
Got his 100th tackle. There you go. We're ahead of our own guys.
3rd down and 6.
Second time in the game that Rutgers has gone empty, just a quarterback.
Line holds, almost intercepted. One of his few bad throws of the night, but Manutai could not hang on, and that one easily could have been picked off.
Yeah, that was another one of those miscommunications. The receiver stopped, and Ryan Hart thought Moses was going to keep going, and that's why that was a lack of completion on that play.
Well, can Ito do it again? Short time ago, the 52-yarder pushed him to within 1. This for the lead. Harris will snap this one. Callie will hold it. This is a 48-yarder. Already a 52 in the books. Now for 48 and the Rutgers lead. Got it. 52-48. The kid doesn't miss. And Rutgers leads it 33-31. But can the Scarlet Knights hang on against Arizona State's offense? 25 for Arizona State, trailing it 33-31. 10 minutes and 8 seconds left in regulation here in the Inside Bowl in Phoenix. Got an open receiver. Battle for the ball, touchdown. Great job by Matt Miller to pull it away on the goal line for the score. He was tied up with Geralt, and he won it.
And it looks like Dirk is going to go for 2. Deep ball again by Rudy Carpenter. He reads it, it's zone coverage, gets behind the safety, it's underthrown, but you go up and catch it and fall into the end zone. Miller, his 2nd touchdown, he had 3 of them against Washington. You can see there's just plays all over the field for Arizona State. They will go for 2.
Leading it 37-33. Burgess is the running back. For 2, got it. Putting it right back in the hands of Brent Miller.
Now, usually you ask me, do you agree if they go for 2? When you have this good of an offense, if I could back up and go for 5, I'd go for 5. Just a little stop out, this time to Brent Miller. That would have been Zach Miller, but it's Brent, the younger brother, that gets it this time. Ball is perfectly thrown, and young brother gets it. Zach Miller got hurt on that blocking play on first down. Remember that.
1,000 yards of offense here tonight.
Here is that injury. There's Miller right there, and this is friendly fire because it's Brandon Rudd. Watch him run over his own guy, friendly fire, and just tweaks that left knee.
Jack, what's the report down below?
Well, you can expect Zach Miller to go back out. What the athletic trainers did is they outfitted him with a knee brace on that knee, and he's been walking it off as we speak, and he's been cleared to go back out on the field, guys.
And Brent's over there with him right now. And Cutter's high-powered offense doing it again. 595 total yards. First down and goal. Toss, Burgess. Battles his way for the touchdown. Tough run by Rudy Burgess, the sophomore from Edwards, California. A converted wide receiver.
Got to go for 2 again on this play because it's a 12-point game. Here's Burgess. Takes it to the outside. The toss sweep has been good for Arizona State. And Burgess again just read the blocking, stayed patient, and strung it out into the end zone. You got to go for 2, and it's a good call. Dirk Cutter's right on all night. 660 yards. They put up 700 against Northwestern, but 659 against Rutgers.
For 2, Carpenter's going to hoof it.
Oh.
When he gets there, you see why quarterbacks slide. Thompson delivered the blow.
Way to pop up. I'll tell you, he's winning over his teammates.
He's a tough hombre.
Sam Keller's going to be in for a battle. Sam's an elite quarterback, but this kid is a player. He's a football player.
Did you see the way he bounced up? Was John with the linebacker on this?
You know, we talked to Dirk Cutter about Rudy Johnson. Came from California, was offered by UCLA late, but he kept his commitment to Arizona State. And you know what Dirk said is, he grew up tough, and you can see it right there. Man, oh man, that your team just reacts to that when you play like that.
Yeah, he's been a tremendous performer here tonight. You can't say enough about his 460-plus yard game, 4 scores.
You know, he's the highest rated quarterback in all of college football. He only qualified tonight because he didn't have enough starts. But his first pass tonight meant he was the highest rated quarterback in college football this year.
Yeah, a gutty performance by both these teams.
Yes. He's only thrown 2 interceptions all year.
That's phenomenal. Coming off the bench, a redshirt freshman out of Westlake, California. Game 8, he replaced the injured Sam Keller. What a quarterback duel they're going to have.
Yes, they are.
Down here in the desert. And look at him with his offensive lineman. He's just said 4 minutes. We may have to go again.
And look at it. All the coaches are congratulating those offensive linemen who have fought through a year when they've lost so many players. Carnahan limping through a football game. You can't leave the field when Carnahan stays on the field, can you?
No, exactly. Gut check time for the Sun Devils as Rutgers came here determined. And sort of a pooch kick, which will be fielded and fair caught at the 24-yard line, and that's where Rutgers will put it in play, trailing by 12 now at 4:26. And as soon as we finish, we'll be going right to Sports Center, and one of the stories for you Pac-10 fans will be about Reggie Bush. One more big game, Reggie and USC against Texas, the most anticipated championship game that I can recall. And then down here, Gary and I on Monday will have the much anticipated Tostitos Fiesta Bowl between Ohio State and Notre Dame. 4:26. Going deep and intercepted at the 25-yard line. Picked off by Josh Barrett. And Barrett still on his feet. There's a penalty flag. There is a penalty flag as Barrett takes it all the way to the end zone but there is a flag way back, so hang on, everybody.
Ryan Hart's last 2 passes have shown a lack of patience. It was still a football game. Remember, he forced the one over the middle that should have been intercepted, and now he forced one deep that was intercepted. He still had time to march the ball down the field, go for an onside kick, and do it the right way. You didn't need it all in one play. I mean, Ryan has played a great game, and we've all made this mistake. Tried to get it all in one play. You can see receiver bumps into Barrett, and that's why you get intercepted on the play. All that return for naught, pushing them back, and Arizona State's defense puts their offense back on the field. Those guys were resting, drinking Gatorade. Now they got to come back on. Rudy was right.
Barrett says,
4
you're
more
going to
minutes.
save me the trouble and stop me early. So here comes Carpenter now with that patched up offensive line. You can't say enough about Andrew Carnahan, Mike Pollack, the center, Rod at guard, Chaz White beat up over there at left tackle, and Burgess bounces outside.
Whoa, he got quicks.
And you can see why they moved him from wide receiver to running back. And there's another flag down on the field. 3:56, and then we'll be going right away to Sports Center.
You know, Rutgers is spent. They gave it their best shot. They don't have to be embarrassed. They stayed in this football game, but they're done. They really are done. On defense, they're just dragging themselves around. Arizona State has their 2 freshman receivers on the field. One of the reasons I said they're going to be a breakout team.
36 on the offense, 10 yards to the spot of the foul. Repeat, first down.
The one thing that I see on the other sideline with Schiano and Rutgers, 27 years between bowl games, and I'll bet you right now it's not another 27 years before they come back. This program has taken a giant step forward here under Schiano. They're drawing more people. The facility's up to date. There are a lot of good football players in the Northeast. Long Island, New Jersey, up into Connecticut. Heavy competition, New York State. This is Burgess, and he is down at the 24-yard line. And there's no reason why Rutgers can't have an outstanding football program. This is just a huge step for these youngsters and the coaches and everybody else.
Well, when you got a guy that believes in your program and is not using your program as a stepping stone to another job, kids have a tendency to want to go there. And that's what Schiano is preaching, that he wants to be there, he lives there, he wants to win at Rutgers. It was a win-win for Rutgers, though, tonight. They played well enough. They played good enough. They have nothing absolutely to be embarrassed about. Very proud football game for them.
2nd down and 11 here. Pounding with Herring and working on the clock as we start to wind it down, so you all can go to Sports Center and get all the latest stories. Find out about Reggie Bush and the upcoming Houston-San Francisco game. We got a timeout on the field. You think about the coaching staff over there, Gary. Who are some of the assistants of that Rutgers staff that we must compliment Robert Jackson, the running backs coach, with that freshman and the fullback, the job that he's done. Who else?
And I think Craig Versteeg, the offensive coordinator, we've seen Craig a lot of times. He was at Utah with Ron McBride. He's come in here, and you can tell the type of offense they have, that they can move the football, and they will into the future.
And the other person that we want to congratulate is the director of athletics. I've known him for a long time, Robert Mulcahy. He helped with the Meadowlands. I can remember when the NCAA was reluctant to put a Final Four there, and And Bob, he just stuck with it and stuck with it. He said, I'll get the tunnel closed. I'll get the tunnel closed. It'll be one way the night of the, you come over for the Final Four. And he did it, folks. And he's doing a great job up there at Rutgers. And now on the Arizona State side, Jack Arute, they're going to lose an assistant coach. Tell us that story.
Yeah, they're going to lose Mark Helfrich, who's been around with Dirk Cutter for so very long. He, of course, the quarterback's coach. He is playing or coaching his last game. He's moving to Boulder, Colorado to become part of that new staff for the Buffaloes. Interesting to note, though, that ASU and Colorado have never played, but they will next year. That game was scheduled 10 years ago.
That is fascinating, Jack. I didn't realize that. So the Inside Bowl appears to be headed right down about 8 miles from here to the campus at Tempe, and the Inside Bowl will be moving down to Sun Devil Stadium next year as the Fiesta Bowl moves to Glendale. Incomplete, and on third down, Arizona State doing what they always do, throwing the football.
Well, they needed a first down. Why not? Still, listen, this game's not over. Arizona State has had 4 punts blocked this year, 3 of them for touchdowns, 2 against Stanford, and really lost that football game against them. So, you know, I mean, you never know.
There we go, Jesse Ainsworth.
That's how Jesse got in there. The other punter had them all blocked.
They're coming. He fired it out of there. Fair catch, and it hit a Rutgers player. But it is recovered by the Knights. And I think it might have hit Underwood in the helmet.
Underwood and Foster are together again. Once on the kickoff and now on the punt.
2:51 to go, and they need a quick strike, onside kick, and keep coming.
Well, that's what you got to do, and really, if you and it hit Underwood right on the head, it looked like, didn't it? Foster, the kickoff returner and the punt returner. How about he came out of high school 5'9", 145, and Shiano said, "I'm looking for speed." That is speed. You take speed at 145.
Now, speaking of speed, Tucker, number 4, is to the outside for Ryan Hart, the quarterback. Timeout has been called by Arizona State here. Well, our Capital One player of the game, and certainly no surprise, Rudy Carpenter, the redshirt freshman from Westlake, California. And listen to some of the moments for Carpenter, Gary.
Well, he says he throws them end over end. They're not pretty, but tonight he was real pretty. He threw tight spirals all night. He put it on the mark, and you know, his receivers went up and got the football, and I love his toughness. He shows how to play that football position. He's you know, he's kind of like that Drew Brees type guy. He wins over his football team by being tough.
Impressive numbers for the young man, our Capital One player of this game. And of course, we look ahead. We haven't talked much about the Nokia Sugar Bowl. West Virginia, also the Big East, will take on Georgia. Then down in the FedEx Orange Bowl, the battle between Joe Pa and Coach Bowden. Now, Joe Paterno and Penn State against Bobby Bowden and Florida State. So all the big games still ahead of us. First down and 10 now, 2:51, and Hart looking for that quick strike.
That's better. That's what he should have done last series.
Using Harris out of bounds on that far sideline. Lead is 12 right now, 2:45 to go.
Arizona State is going to be willing to give up yards for time. Rutgers has to move it down. They need to throw passes for either out of bounds or first down so they can still have time, if they score, for an onside kick.
3 wide for Rutgers. Hart incomplete.
Yeah, he got hit that time. That's one of those pressure that got right up the gut that time, and just as he threw that ball, I think it was Holyfield that really rocked Hart when that ball came loose.
There's your Inside Bowl record tonight. Better than a grand. 1,146 combined yards. And of course, this used to be played down in Tucson and was known as the Copper Bowl. And when the John Junker and his group in the Fiesta Bowl purchased this, they moved it here to Phoenix. Third down, sets the screen, and here's Leonard looking for the first down, can't get it, and Jamal Williams, an impressive performance by that linebacker tonight.
He really has done a good job. You know, Dale Robinson got hurt. He did not play the second half. Jamar Williams forced a fumble on that one running play. He's probably been the most consistent football player. He's a speed linebacker. 44, 4, and 5 make most of the tackles for this football team. There you see number 4 with another one.
A 4-hour football game here tonight. 4th down and 2 and still not finished. 2:35. Hart's right at it, got it. 1st down, again it's the tight end Clark Harris. 1st team All Big East this year. So the chains will move, clock stops, 2.5 minutes to go.
A lot of guys with hands on the hips on both sides. Just playing on adrenaline and fumes right now, these guys are.
Hart steps up, open in the middle, and going to school with the tight end. So again, it's Harris. And we're on the home stretch headed for Sports Center here with 2:15 to go.
You know, both defenses have got nothing right now.
Hart steps up, fires, almost intercepted. And that was Josh Barrett, the defender, number 19.
He's the nickel back. He had the interception last time. He's probably played the least amount of snaps in the secondary, but you can see him sucking wind right there, can't you?
After that long run.
Yeah, exactly. He hasn't got it back yet.
Which was called back. So here's 2nd down and 10. Arizona State leads it by 12. 2 minutes to go. There are some folks who are not turning this one off. Hart is back. Steps up, fires. Got it. Touchdown, Rutgers. Trez Moses. His 5th touchdown catch of the game, and it gives the Knights a life.
Going to run the post route right there. Ball is thrown right into the body again. When the corner, I think it's Golden, goes for it, he misjudges it just a bit. Golden doesn't come up with it, and Morris goes right into the end zone. Wouldn't Ryan Hart love to have that deep ball back again when he should have done this last time? Now it's onside kick.
Ito needs to make this. Make it a 5, and then it'll be the onside kick. Now he's a fine kicker, and we'll see what he's got. If he can spin it, give it the high hop, get it to 10 yards. Schiano knows the Knights have got a chance to win this.
Good protection. Defensive line is out of gas on the pass rush. He throws it. Golden goes for the football. Oh, that's a nice hang on right there.
Rutgers has exhausted its timeouts, so the onside kick is critical. They must recover it.
Now remember, in the college rule, 4 players must stay to one side of the kicker. So the kicker makes 5, meaning 6 can go to the other side. The NFL, you can put as many on either side as you want.
There's Schiano right in the special teams huddle.
Yeah, he really does get right in the middle of everything, doesn't he?
Yes, he does, including practice.
Yeah.
It came out, you looked down the field, you said, tell me where the coach is. And I looked down, I saw a bunch of guys running around.
He was
playing catch. You see Hagan coming out. They're going to get all the hands guys out here that they can, obviously. So wide receivers, running backs, tight ends, they'll be on the field for the Sun Devils.
Chad Christensen, the quarterback, number 10, the backup quarterback, is also out there right in the middle. There he is, Chad Christensen.
He has very good hands. He's also a holder for the kicker.
There you see it, 4 guys over here to the right of the kicker.
And there it is.
There's
your
4
lineup,
up
Gary.
there, 6 down here, and 1 in the middle. That's 11.
And Burgess is back deep.
Now after
So
the
Cortese
kick,
will put it on the tee. He'll kick it off here. See if he can spin it. Sun Devils ready. Must go 10. Needs a hop. And it's recovered by Arizona State, but there's a penalty flag, and maybe Rutgers was offside.
They were. They got too eager, but boy, you kicked it to the one guy you didn't want to. The guy with the best hands, the truth, Zach Miller.
They'll decline this penalty.
Offsides, number 6 on the kicking team. 5 yards from the end of the run. It'll be a first down for Arizona State.
Oh, yes, sure. It goes to the end of the run. My mistake there.
So let's see. Let's add this up. That means Arizona State has now gone 7 games where they've gone over 500 yards in offense, and they're now at 6 games where they've given up 500 yards in defense. So right on cue, Arizona State.
And an offensive line that can't wait for tomorrow morning.
Right.
A sleep in, well-deserved soak in a hot tub. Some tender, loving care from moms, girlfriends, wives, whatever.
And
First
you know
down.
And knowing college coaches, you know what they'll say? Off-season program starts next week. Good football game. I've done a lot of bowl games. This is a real fun one.
52 on the offense. 5 yards, still first down.
Yeah, it's sort of been a celebration.
Yeah.
For these two, you know, especially Rutgers. You feel so good about the youngsters getting a chance. You know, the one thing, and those of us who love big games, we all would like a playoff. However, and the however is big. The Greg Schianos and the Rutgers wouldn't be making those fields very often. There's something to be said about the great experience at these bowl games for youngsters. And Burgess will go down. And remember, Rutgers out of timeouts, so the clock continues to run. There you are. So we're going to shut it down just as soon as we get finished here with the last minute and a half. We're going to ship it off to Sports Center. Of course, a reminder that ESPN's got a doubleheader coming up tomorrow, another one the next night. Then next week, the BCS Bowls will start to unfold on Monday over on ABC. And here is Burgess. Burgess. And 116. And that stops the clock.
Yeah, it's take a knee time now. You watch, he's going to put in Chad Christensen to go take a knee. You watch this. Chad started as 2 years ago against Nebraska, just before Andrew Walter was the quarterback. Chad is back in his football. Yeah, this is interesting.
They're going to throw it.
No, Chad's going to be the deep guy.
That's it.
Chad's going to be the deep guy.
Yeah, he's going to be the safety valve. Man, I'm telling you, Carpenter, he had that look in his eye, and no one was getting close, and he stayed up. 56 seconds remaining. So both quarterbacks with career highs here tonight, folks. Carpenter, 467 yards. Hart, 374 yards, and just a great contest. And of course, it's time for the bath for the head coach. Dirk Cutter is about to get a little damp. Sneaking up on him here.
Well, coaches say there's no such thing as moral victories, but I think there was one for Rutgers tonight. They played a good football game.
Very entertaining game. Arizona State wins the inside. They can't get him. They can't get him. No,
He's
don't
going
do
to
that.
get it.
No,
No,
he tucked it. Okay. So the happy Stan Barrett and Neil Everett are coming up on Sports Center. Once again, wild and woolly. 85 points.